But hey, I'm gonna tell you about how the thief killed my confidence, but Jesus gave it back, and he can do the same exact thing for you, I promise. But first, we gotta talk about something, and it's something that most people, I guess, aren't willing to talk about. It's too controversial, I don't know, maybe awkward. It's about who the most cocky people in the world are. Yeah, I don't know who you think. I'll tell you exactly the answer. It's 4-year-olds. That's the answer, it's 4-year-olds. And it's not entirely their fault. I think we have something to do with it. I think we contribute to this problem. It's because we celebrate them for answering easy questions, right? Like we'll be like, hey, what sound does a sheep make? And they're like, bah. We're like, yeah, it's so good. You're so smart. You're so great. You know, and then we're like, what sound does a pig make? And they're like, quack. And we're like, oh, pretty close. All right, good job. You know, that's what we do. And they don't need more confidence. They're already confident. Think about 4-year-olds. A 4-year-old will walk into any place. Doesn't matter if there's people, doesn't matter if it's outside, if it's in public, they'll just suddenly go, I don't need pants on, and just take them off and just start running around, right? And this isn't like some other 4-year-olds. This isn't like a new thing. This is how you were when you were 4, right? Your mom's got that one picture of you when you went streaking at your cousin's wedding and you weren't supposed to, yeah? Or she's got that photo of you at Skyline or the family picnic where you just went in your plate like a wood chipper, just shrapnel flying everywhere. And in that photo, where all that food's on your face, what are you doing? You're smiling, you're happy, you're confident, because you're 4 years old. 4-year-olds are cocky. Proved it to you. Now, thing is, we don't stay that way, right? 4-year-olds don't stay that kind of abundance of confidence. Everybody starts out that way, but everybody loses their confidence as they go on. As a public speaker, people all the time will come up to me and they're like, hey, I could never do what you do. And I think it's because they assume I'm just a naturally confident person, just somebody who somehow made it past 4 years old, learned to put on pants, but retained the confidence. That's what they think. Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as a naturally confident person. That does not exist. That's not where confidence comes from. See, I have confidence now in my life. It's a miracle that I think God did. John 10, Jesus said that he came that we may have life and have it abundantly. And part of that life is confidence. It's that feeling of knowing who you are, that you have value to contribute. That's part of the abundant life, but there is a thief who will come to steal, kill, and destroy everything in you, including your confidence. That's what happened to me. Happened kind of the way it does for most of us, really. It starts off with like kind of body blows, these little shots that, you know, like ow kind of things. Like Jake Paul's pummeling you, boom, boom, you know, that kind of thing. Might be 6 years old and you're on the bus and somebody makes fun of your last name, right? And then you're 8 years old and you're at school, it's recess, and someone points out that you're too tall, you're too short, you're too skinny, you're too chubby. Does that happen to you? And then you're 10 years old and you're in math class or you're in gym class and all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and you realize everybody else thinks this is easy. Why is it so hard for me? And your confidence just pummels. It's body shots. And there's that one knockout blow for most of us. For me, I call that 8th and 9th grade. Was anybody ever been the new kid at school? Been the new kid? Anybody ever been the new kid twice at school? Anybody ever been the new kid twice in 1 year? Anybody ever been the new kid 3 times in 1 year? I got you. Finally. I was a new kid 3 times in 1 year. Do you know how hard that was? Your confidence just gets shot because every time you got to start over, every time you got to rebuild your reputation. And at school, they're not excited for new kids. And so at the end of my 9th grade year, man, I was just done. I was flatlined, no confidence at all. In fact, for the rest of high school, I was that kid in your class who when the teacher would call on me, I would turn bright red. I was so embarrassed. I just didn't want to be seen. Sometimes it was because I didn't know the answer, like in math, because I hated math. But most of the time, it's because I just lacked all confidence. It was just gone. So the question is, if you're in a spot where you're missing confidence, how do you get it back? And I'll actually give you a better question than that. Not just get it back. Because I think the goal is not to get back to how you were as a 4-year-old when you were carefree, because that confidence turned out to be flimsy, right? It got stolen from you. It was able to be taken. And so how do you get a confidence that's so abundant, you have in such incredible measure that you could never, ever lose it? This is what most people spend most of their lives looking for. Most of them fall for the answer that I think actually comes from the thief. It's a tricky answer. but it's the popular answer in the world. And it's the idea that you'll gain that kind of confidence through what you accomplish. Confidence equals my accomplishments. Now, that's a trap. I don't know if you figured this out yet. That is a trap, and if you go into it, you will never escape. It works like this. Trap has two sides to it, see? Because if it's about what I accomplish and I do something well, then I go to this side wall over here called pride. And pride's not healthy for me. Pride causes me to be judgmental, look down on people. It's not a great place. And if I'm a logical person, self-aware, I don't get to be here very often because more often than not, I actually mess up. I fall short, I make mistakes, and I end up on the other side of this trap called shame. Shame is not just, I was bad, it's I am bad. Not just I did a bad thing, I am a bad person. That's shame. And most people spend their entire lives just bouncing between these two walls, stuck in it. Now, the gospel has a better answer than that. Jesus said, I came to give you life, I came to give you confidence and in abundance. And it's a different form. See, Jesus says confidence doesn't come from what you accomplish. It comes from what I've accomplished for you. That's where confidence comes from. And when you have that kind of confidence, see, nobody can take it from you. It can't disappear. It's not flimsy, it's not weak. Now, that idea of what he's accomplished for you, it's all over the Bible. There's a bunch of different verses that all kind of say the same thing. I think it's best summarized in the idea of he has adopted you, he's saved you, he's rescued you, and he's called you his son or his daughter, which means you're a son, a daughter of the King. I'll read you just one verse. This is Galatians 3:26. It says, for you are all sons of God through faith. Okay, so if that's true, why do most Christians not have confidence? I think it's for two reasons. First, we add a word in that verse, and the other one's like it. The Bible says not to do this. Don't add words. We add one word in that verse that changes the entire thing. It's the word like. See, we don't read it as, for you are all sons of God through faith. We read it as, for you're all like sons of God. You're like a daughter of God. I mean, you're not. It's a metaphor. That's how we interpret it. And when we interpret it as a metaphor, we miss the entire thing. Friends, it's not a metaphor. There's no like in that verse. You won't find that. Look at the entire Bible. I promise, Google it for yourself. You will not find you are like a son of God. You are like a daughter of God. You will find you are. And that's the most permanent, real reality about you. See, your accomplishments, your trophies, all of your degrees, all the money you make, all the houses you buy, all the cars you ever accumulate, all the good stuff and all the bad stuff, every mistake you make, all of it turns to dust. It is temporary. The thing about you that's eternal is that internal spirit soul that Jesus looks at and says, son, daughter of the King. That's who you are. Most people add like. Don't add like. And here's the second problem. Second reason most Christians miss this. It's because we think believing in that is like a one-time event. Like, it happened one time. I walked down that aisle, I got baptized, I felt it, and good. It's not how it works. See, if you want confidence, you got to work at it. Doesn't come quick. Doesn't come one time. Spiritual strength, which I think confidence is really a lot like physical strength. Just imagine if you decided you wanted to get shredded. You're like, you know, I'm just gonna get like me and The Rock. I want to be twins. That's what I would like. I want to get shredded. And so you go to a personal trainer, right? You hire somebody, and you say, hey, I want to get shredded. I like kind of the one workout that takes 10 minutes, one time, that will leave me shredded for life. They'd be like, no, that's not how it works. So why do we think this is how spiritual life works? Why do we think this is what confidence is? See, you lack confidence because you have this habitual habit of self-doubt. It was unintentional. You didn't mean to do it. Confidence is a habitual, intentional habit of self-belief because what God says about who you are. You have to choose to do it. Now, opposite kind of this trap that the enemy has of pride and shame that leaves you stuck, I think there's almost like a workout plan that God gives us in Scripture. It's called the weakness, worthiness workout plan. It works like this. Weakness, that might seem a little bit odd. How does that have to do with confidence? Well, The people who won't admit that they have problems or shortcomings or mistakes, they're not confident, they're crazy. They're delusional, okay? You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fall short. You're gonna have things that you're not good at. That's okay. But what you've been trained to do by the thief is to take those as evidence that you're not good, and you run to the shame corner. But that's not what God says to do with them. He says in 1 Corinthians 12:6, my power is made perfect in weakness. Do you know what that means? That means every time you fall short, every time you don't have what it takes, you don't run to shame, you run to God and you say, I have the very thing you exchanged for power. May I have some? And every single time he says, yes, of course. And then you spend other time on the worthiness. The worthiness is not just believing one time that you're that child of God, one time that you're the son of the king, you're the daughter of the king, but every single day you put it on. You're not 4 years old, right? You got pants on, right? Every day. Do you ever skip a day of putting on pants? No, I hope not. No, I heard a no. Can we confirm? I don't know. Don't skip a day of putting on who you actually are. You have royal robes. Right after that Galatians 3:26 about you being a son or a daughter of God, it says, for as many of you as were baptized into Christ have put on Christ. There's this biblical idea of you gotta get dressed every day. You gotta put on your pants, you gotta put on your shirt, and they're royal garments. So you're gonna have confidence when you do this. If you work this time after time, I promise you will develop confidence. It'll take a while, it'll take work, but you will absolutely get there. Because you're gonna walk into a room, you look down at yourself and go, you know what I'm dressed in? Robes of the King. You know who just walked in here? The power of God. You know just who walked in here? The favor of God. And that confidence will just be exploding out of you and give life to the people in every room that you go to. That's what will happen. What you got to believe is a quote from one of my favorite theologians. Maybe you heard of him, Kendrick Lamar. You heard of this guy? I don't know if he goes by K. Lamar, Kendrick, I don't know. Here's a song, and he says, I got royalty inside my DNA. You know that's true for you. See, I don't know if your confidence has been stolen, it's been taken, it's been crushed, it's been killed, it doesn't matter. God can bring it back to life if you'll let him. Thanks.